So how you doing?
Mate, fantastic.
Great.
You've got no idea how good I'm going.
Oh, really?
I'm going to tell you all about it in a minute, but anyway,
Excellent. Well, I mean, basically, thanks for doing this first of all, because
no problem.
it's I don't know, the stuff works, and it works it works depending on what you do with it, basically, obviously. And so what you're doing with it, obviously, is like exactly what is meant to happen. Exactly what's meant to happen. So, and there's particularly with you, from what I know of you, the limited amount I do know, there's particularly two areas which people who are trying to make music or thinking about making music, or maybe they've got a vague idea in their head that they want to make music, but they haven't ever got around to it, or they don't think they can. And those two things are time.
Yeah.
And people are like, I haven't got the time. And the other thing is I'm too old. Now that's not meant to be an insult, but you know, and
absolutely,
and they're really, it kind of really, I mean, my motivation for doing all this is that it really breaks my heart when people, they actually make a choice, but they put it down to it not being a choice. It's like, it's just the way it is, you know what I mean? And as a result, they're not doing something that could potentially either change their life or maybe not change their life, to make them happy or whatever it might be. So when I see somebody like you who's just, killing it, it's like, man, people have to understand what you can do and how it changes stuff. And you know what I mean? That's basically why I wanted to talk to you specifically.
I'm so glad you did, because I've got stuff I need to tell you, mate.
Right, excellent.
As I've said, this record, you can use any of this, whatever.
Okay, well let me just kind of start it, properly, so that there's an actual beginning.
Yeah.
So hi Daz, thanks for doing this.
Hello.
I mean, your story's been quite inspiring to me personally, and I just wanted to talk to you because how many months are you into the course?
I just received the third month's content last night. Yeah.
Okay, so you're not quite halfway through yet.
No.
And what you've managed to achieve yourself has been absolutely amazing. And the point of this is to help people who are thinking of joining the course, or who aren't thinking of joining the course, and actually give them some specific strategies that you've used so that they can model them and use them in their own life, whether or not they're thinking of coming onto the Start Now Finish Fast program. So, I mean, first of all, there was just one thing I wanted to ask you, and I actually wanted to ask you this personally. Was that I remember when you kind of first found me and you wrote a comment under one of my videos, and you said something about the blue pill and the red pill.
Yeah.
From the Matrix. Can you tell me more about that? What was going on there?
I don't know. It's just seriously, Mike, you've got no idea. To understand, I feel great, right?
Right.
This is not me this is not the Daryl Sims that people have known in the last probably 5 years.
Oh, really?
It's like I've taken the blue pill or the red pill, whatever it is, and I've woken up. Now, I don't know what it was, but that post that you put on Digital DJs was searching for something. I've been looking around. I've been so unhappy for such a long time with my work situation. But not just that, the fact that I wasn't getting music out. I've only just realised this. I'm a producer, I'm a writer, and I just wasn't getting the music out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't to do with the job, because the job was wouldn't matter what sort of job I was doing, it still would have been the same. The fact that, because sometimes I'd have 3 weeks off, but I still wouldn't get any music done, which made me felt worse. Felt useless. I just didn't know what was going on, to the point where increasingly, I'll tell you all, this is just completely the truth.
Yeah.
Over the last 5 years, I've become increasingly more and more suicidal.
Oh, really? Right? Okay.
Yeah, really, to the point where that's all I would think about.
Yeah.
And I was searching for something. The day I saw that, and that post that you put just spoke to me. It's like, this guy knows, I was there. I know what you're talking about. I've been a music career before as well, and I've lost my way. And it's like, I understood what you were saying. You spoke to me, and I've got to be a part of this,
Right, yeah.
And that's what it was for me. I've been walking around so sad, for so long, and everybody around me knew it. It was affecting everybody around me, all my family, and I didn't like who I was. I made the decision just from reading that, and I never respond or post on anything like that usually, but I had to. And it was an amazing long letter. It just all came out, and I knew then something changed, and I had to be a part of this. I wanted to get the free spot because I didn't have a lot of money at the time, but I didn't matter. I just got money and I just joined, and I am so glad I did.
Excellent.
Yeah, how this has changed me, not just because my music's coming out, but just the way I think, everything about me. So
okay, so I mean, you said the job. So can you just let people know exactly what your job is and how much time you actually have for making music? Because this is one of the things that people really struggle with, is I haven't got the time. And from what I know, you are one of those people who has probably less time than most, supposedly less time than most people out there. So just let people know how much time you've got.
It's ridiculous. Okay, my week will start at, I work, and it wasn't meant to go this way. I've ended up working with a friend of mine who's got a solar company. Now, we're a two-man team, and as it has happened, work has now just taken us further away from home. So I live in the Central Coast. I'm not too far away from you, actually. Yeah. There's a point not far from my street where I can look across and I can see...
Oh, really?
I can see Palm Beach.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And so I'm not far away from you.
Okay.
But yeah, so increasingly my drive to work is sometimes between 6 or 8 hours. So Monday morning I get up at, say, 2 a.m. I drive to, say, somewhere like Dubbo, and then work all day. And I work on install solar panels, so it's in direct sunlight in any kind of weather, rain, wind, sun. I'm in it. We don't have a lunch break because we're trying to get 2 jobs done in one day. Right. Then at the end, I may have an hour and a half or 2 hour drive to the next town. So by the time I get there, I'm shattered, like literally shattered. But I've been able to, because I've been so low, I've had to fight back, and I had to get angry with myself and just push myself to do it. I've had to change my way of thinking. Everything that you've said in these courses, I have tried to apply. Especially, I resisted the getting up early in the morning thing. It works. I've been up since 4 a.m.
Right,
I was so excited today that I was actually talking to you, that I haven't really done that much work, but that doesn't matter. But it works, and I'm getting stuff done. Yeah. And not only am I getting stuff done, I'd usually come home and I'd have 2 days on the weekend after working all week. I'd drive home, and then I'd have 2 days in which I've got my studio, which I'm sitting in now, to get everything done. So that meant shutting out the rest of my life, which wasn't working for me either. I've got a 4-year-old son. I've got a wife that need my attention, and I didn't want to be that person either, where I was coming home and locking myself in the bedroom or the studio and doing that. So getting up early has actually given me 2 or 3 hours of the morning to get a good, solid, quality block of work in when I'm not tired. Then I hear the pitter-patter of little feet up the stairs. Aston, my little boy, runs the room, and it's like, okay, I take the headphones off. What are we doing now? Okay, we're playing Lego. Okay, let's go. So that's what we do, and it's fun.
So let me just get this clear. So you get up at 2 o'clock on Monday morning, and you're away, like sometimes 6 to 8 hours away from home, away from your studio, the whole week until Thursday.
Friday night, I might crawl home at about midnight or whenever. It's been getting, actually since I started this, it's been getting increasingly better. We're going away for sometimes only 4 days or sometimes only 3. So I'm getting more at home, which is for some reason awesome.
Okay, so you're away for all that time, and you've only got the weekend. And when you're at home, you've also got a wife and kid.
Wife and kid, yeah, and all the other stuff that I have to catch up with when I'm not at home. So it's hard. You know?
Yeah. I mean, that is, by any measure a challenging situation. So you've already said that, you know, so other than doing the course, what has changed? I mean, what has changed? What have you done differently to sort of go from where you were? Because I mean, you weren't finishing any music.
No.
Were you working on music at all?
Yeah, I was. Look, I was drinking a lot, which I'd come home, and because I hate the job that I'm doing. It's a horrible job. Yeah. And I'd come home, and so I'd start drinking, and I'd go into the studio and have a few beers. It'd be great. And then I just end up sitting there listening to the same thing over and over again and just thinking about what I'll do tomorrow, you know, that sort of stuff. And you know, it just became the next day I'd have a hangover and couldn't be bothered. So it just became the little bits that I'd get done wasn't enough. And now I've got 3 songs out in less than 3 months. The last one came out in a week and a half, and that is something I've never ever thought I'd be able to do. A week and a half, and I'm not even in the studio. I'm doing little bits and pieces on a laptop, which I hate working on the laptop. It's too small, and man, I pumped it out, and it's awesome. You know,
yeah, I know. I mean, one of the things I've noticed on the forum, where because people post on the Start Now Finish Fast forum their music, and there's a lot of interaction and feedback, is that people love your tracks.
People, really?
Yeah. I mean, it's it's quite obvious how much they love your tracks, and it's amazing that, because it's interesting on one hand, you hate working on the laptop, and then there were all these other things. So there's time, and all the rest of it, and they're like the challenges. And before, they were the reasons you weren't doing it, and now it's almost like they seem to be something different. They're almost like the tools you've got, and so you do it somehow. You know what I mean? That's what you've got, and
oh, look, I suppose it's because you have to. It's your own personal, story or whatever. But I had to go and be that sad and that low to finally tell myself, no more. I've had enough of this. I need to, and I've realised why I'm so sad is because I'm not getting my music out. It wasn't the job. I could be stacking shelves in Woolworths, but as long as I've got my music going, man, I'm the happiest person in the world. The job doesn't matter to me anymore. By the same token, and I know of people, and people are doing this course that I speak to, their job, it wasn't as simple as me getting a music job, because that could take up the part of my life and stop me from creating my music. For a record company or whatever. And I know there are people that are working in the music, and it's kind of like you think you're doing the right thing, but it's stopping you from doing your music, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the job. It wouldn't have mattered what I'd done. I would have not liked it. I had to find a way to get my music out. Now, applying myself to what you're doing, to what you've been telling me to do, the creating habits, all that sort of stuff, I'm good at that. I can chop and change. The drinking thing was amazing for me. I drunk for years and years, and one day decided and I haven't felt like one since. So I can do that.
Yeah.
And with your strengths, I've been able to implement exercise, all this sort of stuff. Meditating, never done that before in my life. I've never missed a day. I've not missed one day, and I'm doing it in little bits and pieces. If I can get a sly one in, I'll just meditate.
That's it. I do that as well. Yeah, a little sly meditate.
Sly. Yeah, I checked this one out. I'm putting my son to bed and tell him a little story, and if you're not careful, he'll milk it and get more stories out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that one.
So you've got. The thing is, and so I said to him, look, okay, we're going to stop talking now, or else you're not going to go to sleep. How about you just listen to Daddy breathe for a while? So I thought I'd get a sly meditation. So I'm sitting there. And
I'll try that one.
Yeah, do it. It's good. And I was like, a quick 5 minute, and I'm sitting there breathing, and next minute he goes to sleep. He was caught at preschool last week meditating. Like,
really?
They put the kids to go down to have a sleep for 20 minutes or whatever, and they said, my wife said, how's Aston going? Did he have a sleep today? She said, yeah, he's had a sleep, but he was just lying there breathing. It was like he was meditating. And she said, he's copying his dad. Like, let's get into it now, like.
I mean, the thing is, you said you were good at doing these habits and stuff, but how is actually having a process helped you? So like actually a kind of step by step, this is what you do, this is what you do, and this is what you do. Has that actually made it more
yeah, it's not so daunting, the whole thing. What you're doing is great. You're tackling it bit by bit and giving us enough to digest and get used to without having too much heaped on us. And you know what? It's the same thing. I know about all this sort of stuff. I've heard it a million times before. We all have, but you just need someone to guide you and keep it up. And this is what you're doing, mate.
Yeah, I mean, everything that I teach, I didn't come up with it.
Of course not.
I didn't invent it. What I'm doing is creating a process where you basically, I mean, because all of this information is out there already. Yeah. It's on the internet, on blog posts, but that's the problem. It's the information just coming at you, or that you don't know what to do with it. So if you put it into an actual program where you kind of go, right, first you do this, then you do this, then you do this, it it works and it makes sense. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. People go, well, I've heard about all this before, but I've never actually used it.
Yeah, exactly. Have you tried it? That's the thing. We all, and I was like that, as if that's going to work, but did I try it? No, you know, like, and it was the sleep, the getting up early, because you're a musician. You're supposed to be a night owl.
That's
and
it, yeah.
You have a few beers and you go through the night, but, you know, I'm older now, I'm getting tired. I've got a little kid. He goes to bed early. Why am I trying, and I get up at 2 a.m. to go to work on Monday. Why am I trying to stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning? Why not just sink in with that, you know?
Yeah.
So you change what you're thinking, you try different things, which is what you're saying. And this is what I'm saying too. This is what's working for me, but you've got to try and find your way, find your strengths, work on your weaknesses. And mate, I'll tell you what, the other night I was working on the werewolf song that I just did. And, you know, I just finished it. And I was just sort of mixing it. Next minute, the door here just gets booted open, and my wife and my son come in, and they're going, "This is awesome!" And around, I get up, we're all pretending to be werewolves, and this is it. This is what it's all about. Where I want to make people dance. You know, that's all we want to do. You know, and it's just the best feeling in the world. It's great.
Excellent. And so, what I mean, you kind of refer to the fact that you're not getting any younger. What would you say to, because this is another thing people say, is like, and they say it on the forum as well, you know, that, you know, I've got these feelings that I'm too old, that, you know, it's, you know, it's sort of, I've gone past that point. What would you say to, I mean, how old are you?
I'm just about to turn 46.
Okay, so, I mean, I'm 41, am I, or 40? I can't remember. You get to that point where you can't remember. but anyway, and I've only just completely changed what I'm doing to something totally new, you know, in the last couple of years. So, you know, I'm a late starter in many ways as well. So, what would you say to people who say, "Oh, I'm too old"?
Mate, I feel like a baby.
Right.
I feel like an absolute baby doing this. I'm reinventing myself. I've spent a lot of time. I've been in bands, you know, and I'm a drummer, and I just feel like now I've actually gained the confidence to believe in my own music, which is why I was always a part of someone else's thing in being in a band, you know, which is a big thing. And having that now, like, I'm 46 almost. I had a guy come around here the other day, another mate of mine that I've been in bands with, and he'd never heard me sing before, and I never really sang on anything. And he goes, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was telling him about Sniff. Sniff, I can't believe I've joined it. Called awesome. But and he was listening to the song, and he goes, "God, you don't sound like a 46-year-old." And I said, "I don't feel like one." And you know, what does that? How does that happen? Like, that's a comment. I don't feel like one. I'm not acting like one.
No.
I don't think age has got anything to do with it whatsoever. I'll be still doing this when I'm 80. I believe I will be, as long as I'm loving it.
Yeah.
And I do think though that you may only have a certain amount of music in you that you can do before you either get bored. It's like anything, too much chocolate, you'll get sick of it. But while I'm enjoying it, while I'm doing it, I feel like when I was on, like when my first band, you'd be staying up all night recording a song, you'd come home, you'd listen to it, you're energized. Other people are listening to your tracks. I'm getting that from this Sniff community. It's awesome. I feel valid here, you know. With my work, the guy that I work with doesn't like music, that doesn't know anything about music. He doesn't understand me. I don't understand him. I work with him and then like live with him of a night time. So it's very, you feel alone, you know.
Yeah.
Connecting to something like this, I've got people on there. I've got like basically about 5 or 6 people that come on and comment on my songs, and they're kind of like, they don't know this, but they're like my gang.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, like, and I don't even know what they look like or anything. One in particular, a guy called James, I've been emailing quite a bit.
James is great, yeah.
Oh man, have you heard his stuff?
No, I haven't actually, no.
Oh, you're kidding. He's awesome. I wish I could do what he does. He does not know how good he is.
Yeah, there's a lot of people, I have to say actually, there's a lot of people on there who are exactly the same. They're like, "Oh, it's not finished yet. You know, the mix isn't quite done." And I listen to it and I'm like,
"Yeah, you kidding me?"
Yeah, it sounds really, really good. I don't actually give feedback myself. Because, because I think if I did that, I would spend all of my time just giving feedback, and there's other things that I you know, that's not what I'm there for. So it's great to see, you know, you guys giving it to each other.
It's good. I'm now getting more confident in giving feedback. It's great. Of course, you want to put your track up there and you want everyone to go, "That's awesome." But, you know, I get comments on there that, make you think. And I've had a few that have made me rethink little bits and pieces. And
there was that Olympics one.
Oh, I never thought that. I tried to go for something really sort of esoteric and cool, and AP goes, it sounds like the Olympics game ceremony. And I've gone, I think it does. And I couldn't listen to it again, so I had to go and change it. It's like, it's fun. It's really is. It's just great. If anybody's thinking of doing this, that just wants to be a part of a good bunch of people, and I've never met any of them. This is the first time I've ever really met you.
Yeah,
it feels that way. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a difference between slinging your stuff up on SoundCloud and hoping for feedback from some random people you don't know anything about them. That's the thing about feedback's only useful if you start to understand the people who you're getting feedback from, because feedback is a lot about the person as well.
Yeah,
giving it about the feedback giver. So if you're getting feedback from a complete stranger you've never heard of, you don't know whether it's good feedback or whether it's bad feedback. Whereas in a community of people, a fairly small community of people you're getting to know them, as you say, your gang, then you actually start to be able to put that feedback, their feedback, in the context of who they are, in the context of their music, in the context and that makes it much, much more valuable than just a load of random feedback coming in from people on SoundCloud.
What's cool about it is that I listen to a lot of people's tracks, and there are some seriously good, talented people that are on there. There are people that are absolute beginners, people like me that are somewhere in between and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. I feel like I'm mixing it with them now. I'm mixing it with the big boys. Like, this is great, and it is like that. You're getting respect from your peers, and it's quality stuff, mate. It's awesome. I love it.
Excellent. And so you said, I mean, how much music had you finished prior to joining the program?
Well, look, I've always my own music. I started sort of seriously. I knew I wanted to make an album of my own stuff. I didn't know what that was, whether I'd have a band around me or whatever. I've always loved electronic music and dance music in particular, but never really gone down that track. I've always been in electronic bands that had elements of that in it. So I'm always playing with click tracks and samples and beats and that sort of stuff. And I tried a few songs here and there, which I've still got on my hard drive, and one of them, The Thing, which was the last one I did, was one of those that I sort of, fixed up. And I've been trying. Usually I'd get to a certain point, the track had become overwhelming because I'd spend so much time on maybe the intro. So I'd build this intro, take hours or days, and then I'd go, right, what's next? I've still got that much to go of the song. And you go, mentally, I can't deal with it, so I'll put that back for later on. And what I did the other night was something that you mentioned on the webinar.
Yes, yeah.
And it's about getting a template track up, a track that something that you like, and then sort of just doing the arrangement, which I did.
Working out what the different sections are of another track that you like. Yeah.
I've never tried that before. I'd seen posts on there, people saying, "Oh, I've just done a one track tonight. It took me 5 hours." How the hell are these people? I sit there. It takes me hours to come up with an intro, and these people are doing full tracks in a night. What's going on? So then I tried it. So I had my headphones on. That's a good thing about my job. I can wear my headphones all day and just listen to stuff. I found this sort of drum and bassy track that was simple. I thought, I can do that. Okay. So I took it and I just put it into Logic and I just mapped it out. Okay, intro, no drums. Hat start here, bass line, and just did that. And then muted it and then started filling it up. Bang, I had a track. And as soon as I had that visual reference of it clicked, and I was able to move on. The next day I went to work. One of the things I'd always wanted to do was work on a track on my laptop while I was away, bounce it down, listen to it the next day, and come up with more ideas. While I was listening to it on the rooftop, I heard this dog barking in the background, and I thought, oh, that sounds cool. So I went with that. The song now has become about a werewolf, about me chasing a werewolf, and it's on all these different levels that about me transforming to something stronger and all this sort of stuff, and it's just. I'd never think like that before. Yeah. Before, my thoughts were of suicide. Right. Seriously.
Right.
That's it. Now, that's not in there. It's about my music.
Awesome. And so I mean, you talked about the, obviously the suicidal thoughts. What impact is doing what you love and actually getting somewhere with what you love having on your, broader life? I mean,
right.
other than the,
everybody that knows me notices the difference. I'm a different I'm brighter now. I'm just brighter. I'm not walking around like this anymore. There were days that I wouldn't speak. I had nothing to say, you know. And to be able to, and this only applies, I think, to me, that I may be an extreme case, but I think you'll find that there are a lot of people out there that are like me too. And that's why this is what you're doing is not just a good idea. It's really important, man. Because seriously, I believe you've saved my life.
Oh, well, that's got a bit of a frog on my throat there. I mean, you know, thank you. I think you've saved your own life. I've just, you know, I've just shown some tools which have helped me out, and you've done it yourself. You always had it, and you always had those resources, and you've done it yourself,
I know that, and I know that I'm going to do something again with it. It's got nothing to do with my age. I'll crack it soon because I'm not giving up. You know that analogy that you said? I love all the stuff that you come up with because I use all of it. About the feast, the table. I was at that table. And I got up, and somehow someone took my place, and I've just been meandering in the background for years now, waiting for someone to get up and go, "Oh, here's your space back." No one's going to do that. Well, I'm not at the table yet, but I'm circling, and as soon as I see someone get up to it, they're gone, and that's it. That's how I feel.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I don't let people make decisions for me anymore, which is what this month is about. The decisions. It's not about choosing the baseline. It's about not letting other people choose for you, because if you don't choose, you end up from being in a music career like I was to somehow now being out in Dubbo on a rooftop putting up solar panels and thinking, how the hell did I get here? You know, this is not what it meant to be. Right. I'm not that person anymore. I walk up and I ask people for what I want now. This has only happened in the last few months. I don't just sit down and wait, you know, or if someone says, "Oh, you're doing this now," don't question it and just do it. I walk up, I ask for what I want. I ask questions. How do you get that sound? You know, I'm just a different person. And that's what this is about on a deeper level, your course. It's not just about choosing your hi-hat sound or whatever.
Although it does help you do that.
It does.
But it's no. I mean, this is the thing. There's a difference between. Okay, so you've got the actual decisions you make. So what hi-hat sound, and then you've got the skill of making decisions. Yeah. And most people focus on, well, how do I work out what the right hi-hat sound is? Whereas what I focus on is, how do I make decisions? Yeah. Because then that stuff is easy. and plus all that decision making ability helps in every part of your life, which then feeds back into your music as well.
I've had just one massive light bulb moment over the last few months. Like seriously, this is the red pill and the blue pill thing I'm telling you about. I feel like I've popped it, and all of a sudden the blinkers have come off, and it's like, this is, you know, I now know I'm back on track. I've done 3 songs. I've done nothing, you know, but I'm heading in the right direction again.
Oh, you've done a lot more than nothing. Trust me, Daz, you've done a lot more than nothing. So going back to, you know, I'm thinking about the people who are watching this, going back to them and how, you know, this conversation can really help them out. Can you just give them, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 things that you would suggest they try doing, you know, to get them, whether they're thinking of doing the course or not, that's not important. This is about, you know, trying to provide some value to the people watching this, that they can try if they're feeling stuck or frustrated or whatever it is with making music.
I'd say definitely the big thing for me was to get a track that and people think it's cheating. It's not, because you'll never, even if you try, and I've tried to do it, tried to copy that track, you can't do it. You don't have the same plugins, you don't have the same sound, you don't even know what that person was thinking when they were doing that. You'll never do it anyway. And I find you just well, I've only done it once, so I find.
You found.
I'm going to do it again now, yeah. But the thing is, if you're stuck, find something that gets you unstuck. And that's what happened to me. And bang, that one night, which I've been searching for years to be able to have a track laid out, the difficulty of finding the next bit wasn't there anymore. It was laid out for me. I could now turn the track off, and then it takes its own form. Sounds that you start playing with become their own thing, and you know, so definitely do that. If you're stuck, find a track that you kind of like and copy the parts, you know, and until you're on your own way.
When you say copy the parts, you mean copy the arrangement, copy
the arrangement,
yeah,
like
the structure,
if the verse goes for 16 bars, we'll do your verse for 16 bars. If then something else happens after that, we'll do that. Now, as soon as I did that, immediately mine changed because I started chopping bits and it became nothing like that song.
It's a starting point.
Starting point, yeah. So do that. You know, the thing that I was getting stuck as well because, and I couldn't figure this out. It was the tired thing. I'd come home from work, wherever I was, and I'd be tired and I'd be doing the right thing. I'd come home, I'd put the laptop on, I'd sit there, I wasn't checking emails, I wasn't looking at tutorials, yet I still had nothing to show for at the end of 2 hours, and it was frustrating. I had to get angry at myself to do it. So that's what worked for me, you know.
right.
Work for anybody else, but I had to have a meeting with myself and say, listen, you're tired, but you're not sitting in a refugee camp, you're not in prison, you've got your family, just wake up yourself and do it, you know. So that's what I had to do.
Brilliant. Oh, that's really helpful and really, really awesome. I mean, I am actually, you know, I'm humbled by your story and inspired by it. I hope everyone that's watching is as well, because you've gone from, you know, a point where you didn't know what to do to being, you know, to really getting to a point where I mean, it's, you know, your excitement is, you can almost touch it, you can taste
it.
I'm a
different person, mate. Yeah, I feel like, as I told you, I feel like I'm 18 years old and 10 foot tall. I'm nearly 46 and only 5'2", but you know, that's how I feel.
Excellent.
You know, and so it's like, doesn't matter how old you are. And the thing is, this is for the young people too, because in a few years you're going to be as old as I am. But if you don't make decisions, you'll stray. You need to get that into place now. Work out what you want to do. If you want to, I should have been a DJ, mate. It's what I should have been when I got back from living in London. Decided I want to be a DJ. No, but I joined other people's bands and I did all that sort of thing. So make your own decisions, believe in yourself, all those cliches.
Yeah.
They're cliches for a reason, because they work, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's the thing. I'm always banging on about people making decisions, and if you the thing is, not making a decision is actually making a decision. It's making the decision to let other stuff decide for you, which is what you were saying. So
pulled around, pushed around, and you don't want that. You want to do the pushing yourself.
So this is the last question I'm going to ask, and this is the question I have been asking all the people I've been doing these kind of interviews with, is if I'd have showed you before you took the plunge and came on Start Now, Finish Fast, if I'd have showed you this video and said, this is what you're going to be telling me in 3 months' time, or 2.5 months' time, whatever it is, what would you have said to me?
I would have, look, I remember I sent you an email. Remember the very first thing when I couldn't even get, I don't know what was happening on my computer, everything was going wrong. I was about to pull out because I was so scared of failing. I was so scared of, this is my last chance here. I've tried everything that I could think of and nothing's working. If I do this course and it doesn't work for me, what am I going to do, you know? And what was the question?
I said, what would you have said to me had I showed you that video at that point?
I bloody hope it works, because last thing I've got to do that. But I don't know if I would have believed it or not. I certainly was willing to give it a try, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, mate. I really do. You've got no idea what you've done. And you're not just doing it for me. There'll be that's why this is so important. There'll be thousands of people out there that are like me, that have lost their way, and just need to get their music out. Yeah. Because that's what it is, you know. We need more musicians in the world, you know what I mean? We need more people putting, you know, songs that have got emotion to make other people feel better, not, you know, less, because we do a good thing. We make people feel good, and that's awesome, you know.
Brilliant. Well, I can't think of a better way to end this. So, Daz, absolutely wonderful to talk to you, and thank you so much. Keep up the great work.
I will, mate. No worries.